Hello friends and fans of Bob's Barn Workshop. Well, we're back up to the lake for the season. Got the camp opened up. We got our new patio poured last fall by the entryway. Of course the water's a little high, can't put my dock and stuff in. But we just had to get up here, you know how that is. But I have a project. The outboard on our big boat, as we call it, has had an intermittent starting problem. Not that it won't run, it's that it won't crank. And I've replaced, I thought it was the key switch, so I replaced the ignition switch. Wasn't the ignition switch. The only thing left in the circuit is the relay. So I have ordered a new relay, and it's here, of course. And let me turn it over this way. I have it on my tripod. I went to put it in the car. I went to put it in the car and I must have left it home. So this is the relay. It's a pretty simple connection. Gotta put my good glasses on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm not going to show this online. This red wire right here, with the red insulation I should say, comes directly from the battery hot. It's the only hot wire into the boat. So I'm going to take that off and tape it up so it's out of the way and insulated. And then we'll get back to it because maybe I can set the camera 11. So there's just another red wire on here, as you can see. And I have to be careful because if I touch anything grounded, you have to be very careful with the battery because they have a lot of energy in them. And that's quite loose. Set my parts aside. Get my electrical tape right here handy. Of course, there goes the washer. Alright, he's up out of the way. Now we have I don't believe we have any fears of any short circuits. Anyway, I was just thinking, here's something probably some of you guys have never seen. An old analog voltmeter. Yeah, that's how the old schoolers like myself learned. Alright, so let's touch around on these. Just touch the chassis of the I didn't think there'd be anything hot in here, but I just wanted to make sure. And I bet you if I touch in here, yep. Can you see that meter? I'm going to touch the end of the wire that I taped up. There you go, 12 volts. It's the only place I can see it coming in. Alright, so you don't have to worry about anything going bang. We know that the two reds go on the left. All the reds go on that post. The yellow is the line from the ignition switch that fires the coil. You can see this is, sometimes they feed the coil hot and ground the coil of the relay with the switch, but this one is not the case. They've got the coil grounded, so the wire coming from the switch is hot when it turns on the circuit and fires the relay. So, therefore, there's probably a word for that, but I don't know it. That was a lock washer, wasn't it? So that guy's, oh, that goes right to the engine ground. Okay, now this does, oh no, that's hot. That's hot. That's not the ground. There's the ground to the starter. If you look here, you'll see this wire from the starter chassis to the chassis of the engine. There's the wire coming from the battery. So there's the ground to the engine, there's the ground to the starter motor, and there's the hot feed. So the hot feeds through the relay. So now I got to find these other smaller those guys. We got a lot of wires here, but there's a couple more smaller ones. I'm assuming this is all metric. I did that a long time ago. Made everything metric. Okay. So see what this one is. I'm hoping that the new relay has new nuts on it. And that one is a 9mm, odd sizes. You know, they're usually 8s and 10s. And that one happens to be a 9. But I'm going to save the nut just in case. I'm trying to drive it back into the socket so I don't drop it down inside the motor here. Worked. Alright, now this thing self-grounds. There's 3 ground wires on the top screw. I gotta remember that. That's too big. So what's next smaller than that? That one? No. What's this one? Okay, that happens to be... Now this is a 1993 Mercury 60 horsepower 3-cylinder. And that one there is an 8. Now this is a machine screw or a bolt, not a nut. Very long machine screw. So I hope you can see something that's going on here anyway. Just a quick little job I had to do here. So I can pull this guy out of the relay. So let's take a look at the relay that I bought. Now there was a sleeve inside of this that I might have lost, or I didn't. There it is, yes. I'm going to see if I need these rubber grommets for the new relay. And yes, I do. I will be moving them over, so I'll just show you right here. This is the relay I took out. It's exactly the same as this relay. I just had to move these rubber grommets over to the new relay. I don't know how they go in. These ones, I guess I could just cut these, because these are not going to fit. Because these won't go through here at all. I'm going to have to cut these in half and just trap them on both sides. All right. Damn it, did I miss all that? Anyway, so I'm grabbing a sharp knife. Yeah, I wish I had my, so I'm just going to slice these in half. and not slice my fingers, hopefully. It'll be fine. I know it's vibration isolation is what it's for. But now I can just trap those in there, hopefully, as I put them back together. Do I have to drill this out so that bushing, see that bushing is where it gets the pressure to press this relay to ground it. So we're going to drill them out. Don't you love it when the hooks just drop out of your pegboard so easily? Yeah, that's always fun. Alright, so it's got to be that guy. This is probably going to break my wrist trying to hold this relay and drill it. But I'll tell you a trick. If you hold your relay down on something wood like this and drill through, it'll help keep it from getting burned. I'm going to have to turn you off while I do this. So my reaming attempt was successful. And how that's got to work is it's got to go through one side of the grommet into the relay, through another grommet, and then it's going to have to go through there. So I got to try to get this all trapped together. So this thing gets grounded when I tighten it down. At least the top. The top already has a screw in it. Nothing came loose. So bugger. No, see, this little relay is a little different. So sometimes you just got to be flexible. That started, which I think I do. Make sure you don't pinch any other wires under there. Alright, alright. Here's the other one. Now that's weird. It's way, way, way closer together than the other one was. So see, the relay is different. What I'm going to have to live with it. I'm going to have to tighten that one down really good. And then hopefully it doesn't hit the cover. Damn it! Because that's sticking way out. Yeah, see how this one recesses in and that one goes that way? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to eliminate the rubber grommets. I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to just put one on top and cut some slits in it. All right. So lacking a vise to hold my relay down, I have screwed it to the bench corner with a couple of screws with the tab sticking off. I'm going to saw through that. I cut my finger already trying to do it freehand. So I'm going to do that to the other side. What I'm using to guide my saw while I cut is I'm clamping on with the lineman's pliers like this. I know it's hard to see. Lineman's pliers like that, so I can saw in that crack and the blade doesn't move around. And I thought my plan was going to be in trouble, but I ran the screws all the way in and they don't seem to need to be shortened. Let me run this one in, because I didn't want to have to. Worst case is I'll just have to stack some washers. So that's my next play. See if you can see up in there still. Alrighty. So I should be able to just slide it under this one and then up into the other one. And they both got big washers on them, so they'll grip it good. Bingo. They're just grabbing the tits, but that's all right. The tips. Are these the 8s? No, these are the 9s. Oh no, they are the 8s. And this will give us a good ground. We just won't have the vibration isolation, but there's really not much I can do. If this top one bottoms out, I'll just put that piece of sleeve or something under it. Yeah, that one bottomed out. So I shall have to back this all the way out. Oh, come on, why is it some bullshit? They fit too tight. I don't have a grinder here or anything like that. I guess I could just saw this screw off, but I'm screwing into aluminum, so I don't want to accidentally cross-thread it and cut new crooked threads and yada yada yada. I'd rather just use spacers under this. And this one's got to be the solid one, because this is the ground. You know what I could try? I got a nut. One of them little brass nuts fit that I took off. No, this bolt's a little bigger. Alright, so we shall just put the spacer in there. And I know there's 3 wires on here. Where'd it go? Oh, there's one from the relay itself that's got to be on there. Where'd he go? I know it's got to be right here, because I just unscrewed it. Where'd it fall to? Alright, well, we'll find that and we'll come right back. Let's see if I can see what we're doing here again. Okay, see the screw with the spacer underneath it right at the top of the screen here? I put the spacer on it, then a washer underneath it, and then the 3 ground wires. See if we can get it tight before it bottoms out. I think it's tight. I don't want to strip it, you know. Okay, so we're making progress. Well, this wire just goes onto the ground side. And I'm glad I saved those nuts, because we're going to need them. Get these up out of the way where I can see. Now, if I remember right, this was a 9mm. 9mm. Arnold. Anybody out there that doesn't like Arnold? Come on. Gotta love Arnold. Yeah, I was afraid this was going to stick out too far, too, if I didn't push it back in without the grommets under it, so. I don't really like the way that's grounded. Could have been grounded a lot better. Is that the 9? That's the 7. Is that it? Nope, that'll be the 9. Okay. We're getting there. Unfortunately, it'll be a while before I get my boat in the water. But the water's too high to put the docks in. And these are the brass screws, so you gotta be careful not to over tighten them. But when they're jammed against each other like that, they're not gonna vibrate loose. And these wires are all nice and tight. Okay, here down to the nitty gritty. You always want to use double nuts on these. You don't want to put a lot of stress tightening this nut down against the relay. I guess I could have tried prying this apart and opening the relay up and seeing what the heck was in there, but it probably would have flown all apart. Oh yeah. Okay. Starter motor. And put my hot wire back on. Okay, he's gone. I think that's intentionally turned backwards like that. So they fit right on like that. Now if I was to short between these two terminals, this engine would crank right now. Because that's all the relay does. It's got a bar in there that slams up against the back of these bolts. When you put power on that coil, the coil creates a magnetic field. There's a metal slug in there that presses up against something that's probably spring-loaded to push it back, but it pushes it forward, it slams it against these contacts, and the motor starts. Or at least the motor cranks. That's the theory anyway. Alright, and as I said, you always want to double nut them. You don't want to drive them down tight against the plastic. Now here we go, I got to be careful. Because this one isn't the hot one. But this one is. And if I hit my wrench on anything grounded, I'll get a big spark right now. But that's done. What's done is done. Shall we give her a quick test? I think the keys are in it. There we go. I think our problem is fixed. She cranks. Unfortunately, I can't do a startup test. I have got to put my cover back on now, which I took this off last fall to see what was in there and what the relay looked like. Whew, excuse me. And And then she just fits on like that, guys. Isn't really waterproof, it's just a guard. They're all the same length. So there's no sorting out to do. Tell my wife's running hot water when the lights blink. Our instantaneous electric water heater draws a lot of juice. Okay. Are we bored yet? I'm tightening these by hand to make sure that they don't get cross-threaded. Because an aluminum cross-threading means it just tears the threads right out. Literally. Now, one of the tricks you can do, did you see what I did? I backed it up counterclockwise. I heard it kind of click. Yeah, see there's a notch right there to get that screw in. No, 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 don't do that. No, 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 I don't smoke anymore. Tired of waking up on the floor. Wasn't that Ringo? Yeah, this is all meant to vibration proof, but she'll be just fine. All these wires come right in the same spot, so. Truthfully, we don't love Mercury outboards around here, but it was all that the local dealer changed to. I'm more of an Evinrude kind of guy. But when you can't find a dealership, you're kind of stuck. And there we go. I don't know if you recognize this. This is the pulse pump. There's a line coming out of the crankcase where it sees the compression and positive and negative pressure of the piston going up and down. And that just runs a little diaphragm. Now let me back this up. I'm too close. Okay, we'll start over. There's a tap into the crankcase. And that creates, see the pistons, the top of the piston's back here. Down here is where the crank is going around. The carburetors on a 2-cycle actually feed into the crankcase because the pistons going up and down cause a suction, just like a well pump, an old hand well pump. And your carburetors are here, and there's a reed valve in between the carburetor and the crankcase, so it sucks the air in. When the piston comes down, it compresses it. When the piston comes past the ports in the cylinder, that compressed gas then rushes up into the combustion chamber. And then when the piston comes up again, it presses out and it shoves the exhaust out the exhaust port. So there, I just did a quick little tutorial on how that works. There's the fuel filter. I haven't changed that in years, but anyway. That being said, guys, I think we're all done. We'll leave it at that for now. I'm going to put the tools away and go eat my dinner. So everybody, God bless, take care from Black Lake and Bob's Barn Workshop. We'll see you next time.